Okay, over on YouTube, I have a lot of people asking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard in her post about going to Alaska in 2026 and her Christmas post about going to Disney World around Christmas of 2026. Some people keep talking about a cruise. Now, I know some people on TikTok were talking about Disney cruises, but I have looked up the Disney cruises in 2026 and they only run from May through September of 2026. Now, the reason why I think cruise ships might be problematic for Gypsy Rose Blanchard is because she is a convicted felon. Not a simple misdemeanor, not petty stuff, not small larceny or, you're talking like the most serious crime you could commit, even above SA. And yes, all forms of SA are egregious, but the person has their life, okay? When you're talking about what Gypsy Rose Blanchard did, she's top tier felon. And she's not just dangerous, she is extremely dangerous because she manipulates, gaslights, and weaponizes other people to do her dirty work for her. And she still does it today. And my biggest evidence of Gypsy Rose Blanchard not having changed, not one bit, is that she has bragged multiple times to dozens of people, even before and right after the crime, that she was a local celebrity. Now, mind you, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was a month and a half away from her 24th birthday when she committed her crime. She was a fully grown adult woman pretending to be a sick, disabled child and garnering celebrity status, local celebrity status. And she has multiple times bragged about being on the news, having articles written about her, having GoFundMes, having charity events, getting free celebrity meet and greets, getting $3,500 checks from big name celebrities. She was bragging about those kinds of things. And then she was using that to manipulate people. She's still manipulating the mainstream media and then using that infamy and that celebrity to manipulate people still today by proxy into doing her social blackmail. And not just social blackmail, social manipulation, especially of content creators, because they speak the truth, they speak in righteousness, and they speak in facts and evidence. But she's going to have a hard time with May through September of 2026 because not only is that way too early to celebrate Christmas, but this Disney cruise actually, the Disney Alaskan cruise, actually stops in Vancouver. And Gypsy Rose Blanchard likely is not allowed to go into Canada. I don't even know if she would be granted a passport. Australia, New Zealand, China, Japan, Iran, the United Kingdom, and Canada don't let felony murderers come into their country. In fact, they are very strict and have laws about exactly that kind of felony crime being permitted any entry into their borders. And remember, a lot of cruises not only go to different islands, different countries, aka different islands, but they also go to international waters. There's not always a guarantee that Gypsy Rose is going to be able to leave the United States of America. And if she even does get granted the ability to leave on a plane or a cruise, there's no guarantee that she's going to be allowed to admit into any other country where that plane or that cruise may stop or go to. I live in the US-Canadian border, and as much as people think that they can just get the Canadian passport or get a passport and go over to Canada, yeah, you might get accepted to go onto the bridge or through the tunnel, but that doesn't mean once you get to the Canadian side of that bridge or tunnel that they have to allow you in. In fact, they have a lot of areas where you can turn around because they deny entry. And it would also make no sense for a Disney Alaskan cruise to end in September because you still have like the rest of September, October, November, December before Christmas. Why make Christmas shirts 4 months early? So I don't know how much credibility there is on everybody thinking that they are for sure, her, Ken, and baby Aurora are going on a Disney Alaskan cruise. Because Ken's father, stepmother, and their daughter, I believe, live in Florida. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that they may be planning a trip to Disney once baby Aurora is closer to 2 years old. Because her second birthday would be a couple days after Christmas. And maybe they plan on visiting Ken's father, stepmother, and sister on Christmas of next year, 2026. And maybe they have plans to go to Disney World then. But when she talks about Disney, I'm assuming Disney World. That's why she's asking people questions about visiting Disney World with toddlers, if they have any advice for that. And when she shows pictures about her and Ken's dream of going to Alaska and seeing Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, I'm assuming that is a separate trip, like an actual trip. That would be just her and Ken. Because sure, if they have a decent enough vehicle, they can drive from Louisiana to Florida and it wouldn't be that great of an expense. But her and Ken going to Alaska, there are a lot of different travel packages for Alaska. And it might be hard for her to get to Alaska, especially if they have to go through Canada. Unless they plan on taking a plane directly from Louisiana into Alaska. Even though they might fly over Canada, it's still going to the United States. So she might not have any issues about flying over the airspace of Canada because she's a U.S. citizen going from a U.S. state to another U.S. state. However, a lot of those packages, whether they be 5 to 6 days or 9 to 10 days, they even have ones that are 15 days where you do tours, Alaskan tours of certain local areas. It depends on where exactly you're going and when you plan on going. I mean, me personally, if I'm going to Alaska, it's only going to be in a very short time frame. And the same for Iceland, which is really the dream, the real dream, dream. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But it wouldn't be that much of an expense for them to really have gas money, a vehicle to drive from Louisiana to Florida. They would have to pay for being admitted into Disney World if she's accepted into Disney World. We all know what happened with Lily Tino. Lily Tino was banned from Disney World, ended up going a second time, ended up getting in somehow, and then still taking photographs of young girls and young women inside of the bathroom and posting them, literally doxing little girls and women in the bathroom. Doesn't matter if they're washing their hands. Doesn't matter if they're standing by the mirror. That's still disgusting. And Florida has had, well, Disney World especially, not just Florida, but Disney World as well, has had a lot of controversy that has been surrounding that. In fact, Lily Tino has been gone for months and months and months now from TikTok, surrounding all the backlash from that. So whether or not Gypsy Rose Blanchard would be allowed in, I think she plans on taking baby Aurora at almost 2 years old. Who knows? Maybe they're going to spend Christmas with Ken's dad and stepmom and sister, and then maybe they're going to celebrate baby Aurora's birthday at Disney World of 2026, because Christmas is December 25th, and then she was born December 28th, allegedly. Maybe they're even going to be staying longer and actually celebrate the new year, since it's only a couple more days. But that doesn't seem like that would be a very big expense. Gas, because they would have a place to stay, visiting Ken's own father, having the expense of gas and having the expense of admitting into Disney World. The Alaskan trip would be a very great expense, because those packages starting at even 5 to 6 nights are at the very, very low end, $4,200 a person. So that's about 10 grand. Now, the packages that are about 15 days or so, and some of the tours, especially some of the seascape tours, can be over $10,000 a person. You'd really be better off just buying tickets off season for Iceland, really, at that rate. But I think taking baby Aurora to Disney World is only for one reason. So she can have a photo opportunity of her and her daughter at Disney World and say, see, look, I broke the cycle.